All right, a very warm welcome to everyone who's here for the first event in this class, Once Upon a Leader, like we normally call Once Upon a Time. It's tied to stories, and that was the intent. Before we jump into what this session is, Ishita, do you want to talk about any of the upcoming sessions and share the details before we get going?
Sure, thank you. Uh, More than upcoming sessions, I am going to talk about something very, very interesting that's going to happen. March is not very far away, and it's the International Women's Day in March on March 8th. And we have some very special plans coming up soon. We'll start announcing about these plans, but then as we are here together, just wanted to share it with you. We have various options for you to choose for your people, the women who you care about, women who you support, and the women you are. Um, Starting with the gift of growth. That's a initiative by Grow with Satori. It's a 3-month long coaching journey for especially for women. We are accepting registration especially for women all February, and this coaching services are available at a very, very, very affordable price. When I say it, believe me, it is. Secondly, we also have some special leadership session, like a 2-day workshop, in-person workshop, especially for women. And that we are going to announce more details about it very soon. And last but not least, we also have 6 individual sessions which can be customized based on the organization's requirements, the team's requirements, or the participants' requirements. And these 6 sessions are 2-hour virtual or in-person sessions. So these are specially curated for ensuring that all the organizations are able to use the IWD services for the women within their teams and leading their organizations. So yeah, you will be hearing about this very, very soon from us. Apart from that, this Once Upon a Leader is a session that we are going to hold every month, uh, preferably the last Friday of every month. And uh, yeah, we would love to see you all in all the sessions. And we are trying to use the power of stories to give inspiration, to give learnings to our audiences. Back to you, Shanti ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, I am super excited to be engaging in the story of Ashoka. So long before Ashoka, most compassionate rulers, but there was lots of things that happened. He was a prince who was shaped by lots of ambition and relentless expectations from his empire, from his father, from his wife. So there was lots of expectations that he was trying to live up to, raised in the shadow of a very powerful dynasty, very powerful predecessors. Ashoka learned very early in his childhood that strength and strategy and conquering and having vast pieces of land all to himself were the currencies of greatness. And that's how he defined success in that moment. As he ascended the throne as a young emperor and very determined to expand that realm of legacy, the Kalinga region, which was fiercely independent, became the focus of his ambition, and he kept on conquering all of that as he went through his reign. The campaign against Kalinga was very, very brutal. Ashoka led his armies. Apologies, there is a plane if you can hear disturbance. Ashoka led his army is the only thing that could bring him glory, unite the empire, make him more powerful. The Kalinga battle, as we know, was very, very fierce. The resistance was stubborn, of course. Both Kalinga was conquered, was subdued by Ashoka. Um, but at that much of wins, however much ever further he went away from the battlefield, the noise would not subside. The devastation was not just physical, but deeply human. Families were, communities were say, hope was completely extinguished. In the aftermath, when Ashoka walked the battlefield, He was no longer triumphant. He was no longer happy about his conquest, but he get land. That he could see elders mourning who were now left helpless because the only earning member left him really hollow and restless. This was the Kalinga moment, a moment of profound reckoning that shattered his old belief about what power meant, about what success meant. Haunted by this guilt, questioning himself, the very foundation of leadership. He questioned what was greatness all about. Was greatness measured by the sword or by the lives he touched or the lives he uplifted? In the darkest of the hour, he discovered Buddhist reign. This was not just a set of rules, but the philosophy was embedded in ethical governance and welfare of all in all aspects. And Ashoka vowed to not rule with fear or with strength or with the need for more land. We all know this transition, this transformation was so radical. Ashoka renounced any further wars, but he did not fight any further wars. He reached out in their well being. Trees that would offer edicts were carved in stone, urging kindness, tolerance, respect for all living beings. He ensured that the forests had a boundary so that people won't go hunting. The empire, once held together by force, now began to flourish through trust and love and kindness and shared purpose. Ashoka's reign became the beacon of human leadership, inspiring generations to go on. Of course, we are all humans. We forget the lessons we learned from one episode, and history has to be rewritten again and again and again and again for us to. This whole journey for Ashoka was not without struggle. Ashoka faced sorry, skepticism from his own people, his own court, who were who who were all rallying behind Ashoka because he was winning. They felt proud to be associated with a winner, with a leader who would conquest. And suddenly there was resistance from all of those. They were wondering whether it was compassion or whether it was weakness. Should I be with the leader who has left all desire to conquer? The whole challenge was transformative for the entire culture. Um, we are glad that Ashoka's commitment never. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting you. Could you repeat that? Sorry, that was my. Yeah, so his commitment was so strong that despite all the pushback he received, he stayed the path. He led by example, showing that when leaders lead through vision, through compassion, and it's not about immediate triumphs and celebrating one conquest over the other, immediate victories, but building a legacy that people could remember over centuries was really what was important. Under Ashoka's leadership, and my history book taught me that it's called as the Mauryan Empire, entered the golden age of peace, prosperity, trade across borders flourished. The then India would trade with and the we expanded in terms of where we could reach by maintaining that peace and harmony. Our art, our learning, our science, our technology, it all flourished in that moment when people were not constantly thinking about wars and survival. Ashoka's story became a testament to power of self-reflection and the courage that he chose to change the course of his life, of his reign, of his people, of his legacy. His legacy endures, that reminder that greatest leaders have to be really humble to be able to create empires. Otherwise, you're winning till the time you are conquering someone else, but then there are greater leaders who are going to conquer you one day or the other. With that, I'll pause and ask, what are you gathering from? Just unmute and
I can share what came to my mind.
Mhm.
Something very relatable. Victory at different stages in life means different to the same person.
Yeah.
And this is very normal.
a good brand, probably more stability, time for yourself starts becoming more important. And much later in your career, it's not about the designation, it's not about how much money you're making. It starts to become about what's the value you're creating. So, what is important depends on this. Let's talk about what emotions did did the story stir.
One is courage,
Courage, yeah. And do you want to expand courage too?
courage to humbleness,
Beautiful. Yeah, it's not just courage to fight wars, but also courage to change course completely, take a big U-turn, and courage to be humble. We just heard Ashoka's story, so we are reflecting on what
नाइस। हम भी करेज ही लेने आए हैं।
courage ही लेने आए.
Courage to stand by the consequences of your decision.
So beautiful. Knowing that his court, his people who were rallying behind him were pushing back against his decision to stop the wars, he still stood by his decision because he felt it was so needed in that point in time.
Right.
Yeah. Since we are talking about courage, if I were to ask you, can you think of a time in your, and leadership is not a designation or a position, you don't need to be having people reporting into you. So instead of saying a time in your leadership, I'll say a time in your career where you showed courage. What did it look
I think it is just courageous to understand that life continues to happen and the work has to happen at its own pace.
like?
As a leader, it is also courageous to accept flaws of people and create a space for people to deal with pressure and be able to do, redo, not get frustrated.
Yeah.
Take that extra time to reach your goal. They may look so simple, but it just calls for so much courage क्योंकि मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते बोलते रहो भाई कर लो कर लो कर लो कर लो तुम नहीं हो तो हम हैं हम तुम्हारे संग बैठे हैं तुम
Yeah.
बहुत ही बढ़िया हो. There's just so much that goes,
Absolutely. That
right?
reminds me, Ruchi, my husband keeps telling me, and I went out a lot to him, and every time I get irritated at somebody, he'll very politely nudge me, simple for whom, Shanti? And then I'm like, okay, simple for me, I get your point.
Yeah.
It's not our definition of simple. Very possible it is a big thing for the other person. Yeah.
Yeah. Like of late, I have come to a point where I have understood that genuinely human beings are struggling with life at this time,
Yeah.
no matter at what position we are in. And that struggle is carrying on people in different fashion. So for somebody, some pressure is very difficult to take, while for the other person, that pressure is okay, but something else is not okay.
Yeah.
And as leaders, it is our job to build that empathy to really understand what are whose trigger. It may look so silly. It's like running a therapy center, but I think that's the need of the hour.
What will help you act with
I can share something.
yeah.
I have been a curious human most of my life, relating myself to a cat right now, because that's what it feels like sometimes. Um, I had the habit of asking a lot of questions because that feeds to my curiosity. The more questions I asked, and the more questions came up to my mind. And that has helped me a lot in my growth, my development, and everything. But sometimes that becomes like what we know now as challenging the status quo. Um, However, sometimes it is appreciated that you're asking questions and you are thinking differently, and it's good. People need new thoughts, new ideas, and everything, but sometimes it goes against me.
Yeah.
So at this stage of the career, I be very, very mindful. What am I asking? How am I asking? Is it really necessary? Is it my cup of tea? Filter those things, but if you ask me, I don't like this filter because that instead of thinking more creative ways, I end up thinking, is how will it land to others? I will be happier if I can just think the other way and then maybe ask questions that can sometimes challenge the status quo also, or the typical patterns, the stereotypes, the habits, where we forget sometimes, right? That this can be done in another way.
Yeah, and when you were
Yeah.
sharing that, what are you doing to your courage every time you are containing it? Think through, I'll go around and I'll come back. Yeah, I'll go in the order in which I see people on my screen. Asavri, what will help?
Courage, I think, at workplace would look like addressing the not so comfortable or the not so pleasant moments or interaction, addressing those. That would be courage.
Think through.
Mm, I will use courage in my career and at the workplace, like facing the challenges.
What will help you face?
It will help me on taking decisions at the
Yeah,
right
so
time.
challenges will help you take decisions. But what will help you face the challenge? What will give you the courage to face the challenge?
Yeah, ma'am.
What
So
will give you the
we
yeah.
have to do courageous at office that something is wrong or something is not happening good in the workspaces. We have to take the initiative to tell everybody that this is not working good.
Mhm.
So we have to take some initiative to do it better.
Totally agree. Exactly what Chandramali said, that I need to show up with courage. My question is, what will help you show up with courage?
I didn't get it, ma'am. Repeat
So,
again.
I'm going to give a different example so that you
Okay.
get it. And probably this is all. It may be one thing that we should live a healthy life.
Okay.
That's the statement we're saying. We should show up with courage. We should act curiously. Those are the statements we are making. My question is a little bit step back, and I'm asking you to show up with courage at the workplace. What needs to happen? So, to live a healthy life, what needs to happen? Yeah, probably I need to exercise. I need to create an environment where I eat healthy, or I remain physically active. So, it's the what I'm asking. To show up courageously at the workplace, what needs to happen?
Yeah. So for that we have to work on our mindset first. That we have whatever we do, we think like a entrepreneur, that we are working as an entrepreneur in your company.
Oh, I love that perspective. Irrespective of whether you are an entrepreneur or not, having that entrepreneurial
Mindset
mindset in your
on,
role
yeah,
will help you show up with courage. Brilliant.
courageous.
Thank you.
For us, from where I am, so guys, I run a business, I run a community for women entrepreneurs. And I think for me, courage is to allow people to take chutti and not crib
High
because
five.
the work pressure comes. Yeah, it is courageous. I had a situation where somebody came and told me it's my dad's 60th birthday. I have to go. And if I don't go, then the family will not go. And it's a business family. And the parents don't take chutti. And the deal is, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And it's not the times now when I say don't go, people will not go. People will anyways go. And if किसी को दिल मार के रख भी लो तो क्या फायदा? दिल बिना दिल क्या ही काम
Heart is
करते
not
हैं,
here. Yeah.
right? So my decision to my conversation to that individual was, you make a choice and I will follow your choice. And I think that is courageous,
Lovely.
because I had to keep myself and my goals and my vision and my day-to-day planning, everything aside, to tell that person, you make a choice and then I will stand with it.
Wonderful.
And that's something that I do with my entire team. So
And what
courage to
helped
दिखा
you
देते हैं.
be that person? What helped you act with courage?
Empathy. So I'm currently reading about ADHD.
Mm.
I think what's happening is, that's why I told you, people by default do not have wrong intentions, is my learning. So when somebody does wrong or you feel somebody is doing wrong, people don't do wrong, we think they are doing wrong, right? So when something happens which we think is wrong, it is time to sit down and say, is it wrong, or is it wrong in my eyes?
Yeah.
Or if I was in that situation, I would deal with it differently. And what would be my reason to do it differently?
Yeah.
And when you go through that whole journey, eventually you come to a point to understand that the little we can do as human beings is support each other. Everything else is a byproduct of living.
Lovely.
And that builds the so-called courage, but it's not easy.
It is not.
Because in a closed room, sitting on your chair by yourself, you're sweating inside and you're smiling outside. It takes a toll, but that's life.
Absolute. For you, courage comes from the fact that you're constantly telling yourself people are acting out of good intention. There is
Yeah.
a good intention behind what they're doing,
Yeah.
and showing empathy to support their decision. That's where your
Yeah.
courage comes from.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Welcome, Pujita. We started by hearing Ashoka's story, and after that, we are answering this question: what in your career is enabling you to show up with courage today? And please hear a couple of responses. I'll come to you shortly. Yeah, Sachin.
Yeah, so one is being in a state of being where we say we don't know anything. So that lets us absorb a lot of things and give more clarity
Wow.
to a
Staying in
particular.
the state of I don't know anything. Um, I'm just curious, Sachin. If I am to tell myself I don't know anything, I might be scared. I might be looking for courage.
See, when you don't know anything, you are in the state of absorbing, learning everything, and
Mm,
um, that's when you can you have the clarity. You get better clarity. You know, if you go other way around, you say I know everything. You don't tend to listen, and you put your own from the half knowledge you have. You tend to say, okay, this is it. I don't tend to go beyond it.
lovely, lovely. So what you are saying, Sachin, is when I enter a room, a situation, a problem, saying I know it all, then your ability to take risks and learn reduces. And when you go
Yes,
in with the mindset of there is enough to learn, maybe I don't know everything, then your ability to take risks and learn more increases, and hence you show up with courage.
yes,
Would that be a fair summary of what you shared?
yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Vivek.
Yeah, ma'am. Myself is courage is like working more on what we don't know anything.
Very similar to Sachin, working with the
Yeah,
mindset of I don't know everything.
doing.
Let
Yeah,
me learn this. Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. One of my leaders in earlier on in my career, she would say, every time I would hesitate to speak up, she asked me, Shanti, why don't you speak up? You told me that idea. Why didn't you share it in the meeting? I said, I don't think it will fly. Looking at the atmosphere in the room, I felt my idea will not fly. They will reject it. She said, by not sharing it is already rejected. So the only thing that could have happened is better. If you had shared your idea, there was a 50% chance of it being heard and implemented. But your choice made it irrelevant because it's already lost. So that stayed with me. So whenever possible, I speak up. I don't keep things to myself, and that really gives courage. If you don't speak up, the answer is always a no, and I keep telling that to myself. If I don't speak up, if I don't ask, the answer is always a no. Let me ask, and then the answer is no. Okay, I tried, I gave my best, and it didn't work. And that absolutely gives courage. Thank you. Pujita, what in your work gives you courage today?
Hi, Shanti. Thanks for the refresher. I joined while Ruchi was speaking.
Hmm.
Absolutely loved the insights, right? So, um, very, very grounded and filled with the reality of everyday life. So, for me personally, I feel courageous when I'm fully prepared.
Hmm.
So, not every day is the same. There might be the days where you have to face unforeseen situations as well. So during that time, pull up yourself and say to yourself, "I got this."
Hmm.
And then once we prepare that in our minds, then we can face it. So I say this with the recent example because I had to sit in a room full of executives recently, and I was new to the organization. I was just 3 months old with the organization, while everybody else,
Was older.
executives know, yeah, executives know name and name of each and every other person other than myself. So I was the only new person. So I was feeling intimidated whether can I do it or not? Will I be able to pull up this presentation or not? But I told myself I was prepared well. I took time. I prepared, and when I entered the room, I did the same thing. So I said to myself, "Yes, I got this," and then it went well. Finally, uh, CEO appreciated the way I presented. That gave me full of confidence, right? So the person who entered the room, whether thinking uncertain about the outcome, just because I was prepared and I mentally prepared myself to be strong, I think the output came out well.
How beautiful. Being mentally prepared for the outcome gives you that courage, not, that Gita phrase, "Fal ki chinta."
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Ishita, I'll come back to you. Were you able to find an answer to your question around if you are containing your courage?
Yeah, I could find some answers. Yet to think about it, deep dive, surely not in this session. But uh, since this is in my nature that I love to ask questions, love to explore things, even if I know them, I don't know them, I'm happy to do it. Uh, which brings me, which channelizes if I'm containing my courage in certain way, something that may not help me in a longer run. Maybe I'm keeping things to myself. I'm also channelizing it through other ways because kahin pe to niklega types. Uh, so I am also getting other opportunities to explore. I have realized that many professionals, including me, we are very, very disciplined, very, very mindful in what we are talking, what we are uttering, how we are keeping ourselves every day. And we are very, very good in that, in managing all this in our professional lives. But when it comes to our personal lives, we are just अपने लिए कौन करता है? I mean, my husband is traveling, and then I'll think, who will cook here? Not required, not me. We'll continue to order this, that. So, uh, this also brings me to this question that how disciplined am I in my personal life? Why is it chalta hai for me and not for my work, where I'm working for somebody else? So I'm that curiosity. I mean, it has been some time that I have started working on my personal aspects as well. I want to be, if not equally disciplined, but then I want to still stay focused on my own self, my own growth. Uh, with my growth, I'm growing many more things. Proud to be a woman here, but then I am also growing my family properly, and I'm taking care of them well, my little one well, and my work very well. So yeah, I'm channelizing it through different channels if I'm containing myself, because that is somewhere not really helping me. I can't put my feet in all the boats, even though they look charming, but then
Else, anybody wants to share anything you've uncovered, you've started to reflect after hearing?
Ma'am, I agree with Vivek and Sachin what she has said, that we have to know nothing about things so that we can think out of the box.
Lovely, lovely. Glad for your learning. Yes, Asafri.
To add to that, also take a macro perspective of a particular situation and see where it fits in the larger scheme of things, and then decide accordingly.
Absolutely. End goal or the intended outcome. You may call it with very many names depending on how big or small an aspect you're talking about. But if you have that end destination in mind, Google Maps अपने आप route बता देगा. It may reroute depending on कहाँ पे ज़्यादा traffic है, but then it will get you to that destination. But you need to feed into it. I'm starting from point A, I have to go to point B. And when that is clear, the path may vary, and somehow you will reach bus से rapido लेके taxi करके कोई ना कोई तरीका निकल आएगा. Lovely. So having that long term vision, and in fact, just after hearing all of your responses, I think that long term vision is so important. And each one of you, if your vision is clear, why am I doing what am I doing? your decisions will become that much more easier. For example, Ruchi will gather the courage to allow people to take leaves if she knows, I want to keep my team intact. I want to keep a strong team. They're doing well, and I want to continue to work with them in the long run. I want a happy team. If those are her long-term visions for how she wants to bring a team, that decision will start to become that much more easier. Yeah, Ruchi, I spoke on your behalf. Anything you want to share?
Yeah. I think as a leader, I would disagree with you, Shanti, because when I say I want a happy team, it doesn't get over at that, because I am expecting that with this chutti, the team will be happy. ऐसे होता नहीं है. This is actually the deal is it is lot more work for somebody else to understand how to prioritize work.
Yeah.
So the real leadership or the courage at work is to patiently wait and train people you are working with to be able to choose work over things in life if you are ambitious.
Yeah, that's the trade-off they are making. What is in their vision statement? If it is, I want to lead a good life, and what does that good mean कि मुझे आराम करना है, तो
हाँ, तो फिर वही है, तो
consequences,
हाँ, सो फिर वहां पे दो तीन चीजें आती हैं. तो अब जैसे सपोज यही जो मेरा एग्जांपल है, इट इज करेजियस टू लेट दैट पर्सन गो, बट हम उसको ऐसे ही नहीं जाने दिया भाई. हम उसको बोला कि इफ तुमको नंबर वन बनना है तो तुम यू कैन बी नंबर वन विद दिस एटीट्यूड. फॉर बीइंग नंबर वन यू हैव टू put that much effort and work into it.
It should show in your results. It should show in your work.
Right. So then for me the courage is to even express that calmly and then keep checking and then also plan the exit and entry. I think this whole, because at every point there is so much trouble for a leader. जब एक बंदा जाता है, एक बंदे को हायर करो, फिर उसको समझाओ, फिर उसको टेस्ट करो, फिर पूरा सर्कल, it is equally troublesome and it pauses everything else.
And after learning everything, they will put their papers to move on to greener pastures because somebody is offering them a few 100K more.
So the courage is to just accept that, can I just have somebody else be happy no matter how long that person is with you, and that's about it.
Lovely.
है ना?
That reminds me, what Ruchi shared reminded me of a leader. I was working very closely with him. He had a very unique way. How he would present to his team that you need to work harder, achieve harder, was very different than what I've noticed recently. So he would always say that I aim for a Rolls Royce because I want my team to have at least a BMW. And so that he would also say that I want to have a bungalow, so my team will have one flat each on their name. He was into real estate, so that's how his words were. And that was very unique. Unique and very charming. I mean, maybe I don't know the inner intent overall, but then the way he would present his inner intent was very capturing. I could relate it to what Ruchi said when she mentioned that it's not easy as a leader.
Able to sell a dream for your team to follow through. Yeah. Tell the dream that, in 2 years from now, you'll have your own flat at 2 BHK. That for a tier 2 city person coming to Bangalore, living on rents or in a PG, to have that dream itself is a big motivator to strive. Anything else coming to your mind before we move to the next? So now consider he chose to acknowledge, he chose to repair what he had done, he chose to learn from it. What stands out for you about the way he...
Can you ask your question again?
Sure. So in the story, battlefield, he decided to acknowledge that I've done something wrong. He dropped his weapons. He did repairs. He took care of the people he had orphaned, and he created, all that he did to take care of his people. He learned from what he did. He course corrected. What is that telling you about his response to a situation? What can you learn from it?
Acceptance. So he accepted his mistakes, and then he processed his emotions, and then paused, and then reflected, and came up with ways to. No, it's not easy. So you go through your own turmoil.
Yeah.
It takes time. It obviously takes time, guidance.
What stops you or what prevents you from accepting that you've made a blunder, you've made a mistake?
Yeah, it's our own ego. So ego.
Wonderful. Definition of right and wrong. It's our own ego. How can I accept us who've gone this path despite knowing that they are on the wrong path, have not acknowledged that they're on the wrong path, and they continue going in the wrong path? And I'll share the story in a short.
Yeah. Somewhere I feel that more than an ego, there is a pressure, a societal pressure that a leader should know it all. Leader is a human. How can a leader know it all?
Yeah.
That equally acts just like an ego, it acts there, or probably it feeds to that ego.
How ego is defined in our ancient cultures is your image of who you, my image of who I should be is my ego, and I believe that I am a person who can, I'm the nicest and kindest in the room. Any evidence that counters this image of mine, which is my ego, holds me back. And that's exactly what you're talking about, that we don't acknowledge that we may be wrong because it is against the image that we've created for ourselves. I can never be wrong. I've put in 25 years of experience. How can I be wrong? No, I don't have to listen to juniors. They don't have experience. It's all this language itself is coming from the fact of I'm putting my ego on a pedestal and saying, I know much more than them. You're very thoughtful, Ishita.
I forgot as soon as you asked the question. I was thinking something, I forgot.
I just want to tell that a person who is in the position of a leader should acknowledge that not every decision is a right decision.
Wonderful.
So once a person identifies that a decision that is made is negatively impacting the stakeholders, then accept that and look for a solution, right? So that is
Fail fast, course correct sooner.
correct. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like I halfway into my journey, I check Google Maps. It says, Shanti, you're supposed to head north to reach your destination, but I'm heading south. But I'm like, I can't be wrong. And I keep on moving in the south direction. Obviously, I will never reach my destination. I'm going to get further and further away from my decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
The example that comes to me is I was working for a large BFSI, and our leaders decided to move all technology projects from waterfall to agile, and there was a huge training enablement and transition from waterfall to agile. All of that happened. They did see very good results and outcome there. Looking at that, they said, okay, not only technology, even operations and backend is also going to move towards agile, and they forced a lot of these backend, all of the backend teams to move to agile, and it really didn't make sense for them. Uh, it was the start of the collapse of the operations teams in that organization, and then only when that leader moved out did things start to come back, because then his successor then said, this is not working in this area, we are going to revert, we're going to do the traditional project management, and technology can continue that. And everyone was hoping that the previous leader, who was already seeing results year on year, 4 consecutive years, our ratings, our investors were unhappy, the investments coming to the bank were reducing, but he continued with that, knowing it was in the wrong direction. The only thing that satisfied his ego was quitting. And even in the goodbye message, it was, you could read ego, that I'm sure I'll find somebody who deserves my kind of support and encourage. So even in that goodbye message, it was so full of ego, you could actually sense that. Yeah, absolutely true.
A similar thing I found in this book called CEO Excellence.
Mhm.
A wonderful book. It talks about 7 mindsets of any CEO or any leader for that matter.
Mhm.
One of the mindsets were taking calculated risk.
Mhm.
There, so how the book goes is it talks about the best habits of the CEOs, the world's best CEOs rated by McKinsey, and they have interviewed them. And then, what do those CEOs do at the time when when they have to take a risk? Um, there were few things that I still remember were taking, being taking aware risk that I know that this can go wrong, that can go wrong, and few more things can go wrong, which I am not able to see right now. Second was the bigger the risk involved, the more the communication should be.
Yeah.
So that if you are not able to see the type of risk that may come crop up in the future, somebody else would, or the discussions would lead to uh, put some light on those risks. And that was a wonderful insight.
So resonated that leaders should take calculated risks, known risks. It's like if you don't allow a child to fall, the child will never learn how to walk. But while the child is falling, you need to make the place, environment, child safe so that even if the child falls, they don't get so badly hurt and fearful of walking. No, so that's the kind of environment that leaders have to create by allowing those calculated risks. Okay, maybe we'll lose a few $1,000s, but if my people learn and they're able to do better, it's worth taking that risk. And larger the risk.
And there's also then a tendency in this is in contrast to what the king in the story did.
Mhm.
He accepted it, but then there's also tendency among some people to live in denial mode, and they'll constantly forcefully find evidences they know which are not right, but they'll force fit that evidence to prove that they are right.
Yeah. And that's the example I was giving, Ishita. When you create this false image that I can never be wrong, your confirmation bias to find evidences to confirm your belief will be so much, larger that you'll keep finding evidences. See, I told you. See, I told you. No, see, now this kingdom is listening to us. See, now we can exploit resources in this kingdom. Trump is coming to my mind, but we are not going to be talking politics today. But yeah, that sense of elevated Ashoka's action to withdraw wars kingdom or nurture a kingdom that is helpful, supportive, kind, and nice and peaceful uh, came with a lot of pushback. Yeah, he had his own ways to deal with the pushback, and we heard about it in the story. My question to all of you would be: when have you experienced pushback in your careers, and if you don't understand?
Yes, Shanti, if you could please ask the question again.
Yeah. When have you experienced pushback or resistance for a decision that you may have made?
Okay, I can recollect one of my experiences that I've hired an engineer to my team, and so they spar like for 1 year. He's an average resource, not bad, not performing above and beyond as well, but doing justice to the role. However, the higher leadership had a perception otherwise. They thought, okay, this resource is not bringing value to the table. But it's only the perception, right? Because this person is calm doesn't mean he's doing work. He was the kind of person who has the heads down and focus on the work and careless about making noise to show that he's actually working. So because I was on ground, I know the reality, and I try to pass on the message to the leadership.
Yeah.
uh, However, they did not seem to be convinced
Yeah.
at this. So I had to coach this person, mentor him, and then I understood, okay, this is his personal uh, trait that he doesn't want to show up and all of that. But I had to tell him, yeah, that is okay, but just showing your work that you're doing is not wrong.
Mm.
Uh, So this person made this changes, and but I clearly don't know the reason behind the perception of the leadership, but I had to, because I definitely see a lot of value that this person is bringing,
Person
and
brought,
that,
yeah.
yeah. So I had to really push, or even in a meeting, I had to stand strong, right? So luckily, like Ashoka, we don't have to deal with life and death situation.
Yeah.
But all in the corporate life, I mean, job can be considered as life, right, for a person.
Absolutely. If
So,
somebody is losing their job, it is a big thing. Very
right.
close to a life and death situation, yeah.
Right. So things did not go well in that. So, but the person is still with that organization. I did move out because I did not like the culture there. So I thought that's not the right place for me. But I'm happy that that person is still employed and doing good there.
Speak up, share, coach, guide, and then let be. You did what you could, and then you could not change the culture, you cannot change this person's mindset, and you let be. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I can share something.
Mm.
This reminds me of an instance which wherein I just followed what my mom always spoke. There's a phrase in Bangla uh, saying "Bokar Bokar shotru hoy na," which means a fool will not have enemies. Um, when I encountered some pushback in one of the organization, I was way younger at that time to understand what was happening. But uh, in all the good things that has happened to me, probably I chose to uh, be the fool at that moment. Be the fool in a way to understand. I mean, I was asking questions to understand what led to this decision, which did not go as expected uh, by me, because I expected this. And because I did a lot of research, I backed up myself to my decision to a level that I know this is the right way. Uh, so I had a lot of data to support my stance at that point. Um, it was an MNC, and getting the limelight of the management was very difficult in that organization. Probably that decision did not go in my favor. However, that really brought some limelight and lot of opportunities, learning opportunities, growth opportunities for me. So yeah, probably when you don't know things are not going your way, you don't know how to fight it back. You know, act like a fool, so that you want to understand more, and which will help you get a better clarity. Either you will get convinced or you will convince the other one.
Yeah, goes back to Sachin's point. Step in with the fact that I don't need to share
I
his
want to
story.
share
Yeah, yeah.
another
Maybe sure.
small instance. So while reading this book uh, named as My Hanuman Chalisa, it's by Devdutt Patnaik. He usually frames the mythological stories and how that information or how that learning can be used in today's modern life. So while reading, it's a very small book, patla sa book. Uh, while reading that book, he spoke about how Hanuman would have felt when he was asked to jump and cross the ocean. He had no clue that he had those many powers. He trusted somebody. He trusted somebody who he admired, that you have the power, try it once, you will be able to do it. And that trust brings a lot of faith in your own self.
Yeah.
And that can stand equally for courage as well. When you don't have the courage, just trust the person who you look forward to, your mentors, your uh, your the group of people who you have to support you, to cheer you up.
Trust the system. Slowly things will emerge out of chaos. Yeah. But don't stop sharing. to that, that first statement that you said, sometimes I hold back my curiosity. My only ask would be, keep sharing your curiosity and know that there is some Jamban standing somewhere around you who is going to tell you what your true powers are. They will show you the mirror and push back on the decision of people had literally gone back to their hometowns. They were already helping their parents, uncles and aunts on their farm, and they would work that office hours they would work, but early morning on the field, later in the evening in the village chopal to have good time with the community. That's how they had started leading their life, and suddenly they were all asked to come back and report to work 3 days a week, and 3 days a week did not make sense to them because they had given up their rented homes. And I even heard a phrase right as I had made the announcement, this is going to start from March and this is how things are going to change, and I was walking out of the meeting room only to hear, शांति का खुद का घर है इसलिए उसके लिए कहना आसान है. Instead of working from home, I will go to office, and the office anyways provides cab. So nothing, there is not a big change for me. I didn't have young kids who were now used to me staying at home, taking care of them. And so the only thing I could offer was give and take. I went and negotiated with the management for rented their serviced apartments, so that when people come to work for the 3 days, can they stay in the serviced apartments and they don't have to rent places. So that it is like, we'll give you this, can we get that from you? So that barter, what can we give in order to get you to help and support and cooperate, really helped me when there was a huge pushback this time. And it has worked in a number of other instances also, where what can I give before I ask really works well. But that got triggered only when I heard that Shanti ka to khud ka ghar hai, uske liye kehna aasan hai. That was like, yeah, ouch, I didn't even realize that. Yeah. All right. One last question. And Ashoka's, the second part of life after his realization was that shift from ruling by force to leading with empathy. Where in your current context might empathy make you stronger than authority or pressure? And we'll do the way we did Savri, are you repenting why your name starts with A?
No, I was just going to ask you, can you come again with that question?
Sure. So, in Ashoka's story, he moved from leading by force to leading with empathy. Yeah. And it worked well for him. We know him as one of the most compassionate kings, having built so many things for the people he took care of. So what is it that in your context where empathy might be a stronger strategy than fight or
I'll take a while to answer that, but I'm reminded of some other line here. I read it somewhere that the days you feel that people have been unkind to you, that particular day, be empathetic and kind to someone else, and you'll immediately feel better and recharged.
Yeah. You know about that Bangalore auto wala? So I don't remember his name, but if you search Google, you will get him. He does not charge money. He says your money has been paid by the previous passenger, and you can pay for the next one if you choose to. And just that word, if you choose to, he gives them freedom, but still people pay and he makes a profit. It's not that people are paying less than what they should, they are paying more than what they would have otherwise paid through an app or anything, and he makes more money. So the day you're feeling low, if you make somebody else's life smoother, smarter, it is absolutely going to enable you to sail through empathy. But I'll come back to you for the answer to the question, where in your life today will empathy help you move further as compared to pressure? Yeah. Who's next on the screen? Chandramouli.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm thinking of that answer.
Empathy has helped me in the past to understand the underlying causes. Many a times, if you are dealing with someone who is not in agreement with what is supposed to be done or how the way forward. Many a times, if you be empathetic to them, try to understand their point of view with an open mind, and that's a very difficult thing for me, at least for me to do. Um, Listening to them with an open mind can help uncover some facts that what might be the reason that we all are not in this together.
Yeah.
And then there is a separate problem to solve. It's like the five whys.
Yeah.
Why, and then you are actually with the core reason. What is happening that is stopping you from doing something or not doing it?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Brilliant.
I look at empathy in that way, probably to help the underlying causes, help with the underlying causes, so the purpose can be solved.
The perceived image, that the imaginary image of ourselves that we are living within, that we want to associate with, is formed over the initial years because of what we hear in our environment, in our surroundings. When we hear things like, oh, you're the prettiest child, wow, such a beautiful writing, you're the best kid in the block, we are slowly adding on and giving shape and structure to that false egoistic image of ourselves that can never be wrong, that can never fail, that can never look ugly, that can never make a mistake. And we are unfortunately living to it. So, any egoistic person, when you meet with them and you deal with them with empathy and keep asking why in a very polite way, you'll actually uncover they're so scared within, they're so scared deep inside that I don't know how to deal with failure. I don't know how
Yeah.
to deal with the fact what will people say if I fail. And hence they are holding.
I have a slightly different take on this. So, with the experiences that I had, I feel empathy works in the spaces where the the person at the decision making level is also empathetic, right? Otherwise, you will certainly be walking a tightrope. Uh, uh, but so just to say, in your example, Shanti, because you acted with empathy, your team had a better stay. Otherwise, if you have taken it like, how can they talk about me like this? Then the team would be in a very bad position. So I think it all depends on the rooms you walk into. If you're walking into a room which has no empathy, then walking out of the room is the best solution. But keep that empathy with you because
Keep
that
that empathy with you. I would say walk out of the room, yes, but after giving it a try. Sometimes the room is so full of themselves, that egoistic image of themselves, that they're not familiar with empathy. And when you keep showing them what empathy means, chances are it's a 50-50%. I totally agree.
yeah
Chances are they may also realize, oh, empathy can do these wonders, let me revert. But then sometimes the ego is so huge and you're so consumed in your ego that you choose not to see the impact of empathy, and people will just turn away and say, I don't care, I can't see, I don't see a benefit in. Yeah, in those instances, absolutely moving out and creating that empathetic new space for yourself might be a better alternative.
yeah
Lovely. Thank you. Rishabh.
Yeah, ma'am. So if we be empathetic to the people that we are seen, heard, and valued, the performance of the team gradually changes
Mm.
and have better decision making in the team. If
Why
we
does that happen?
if we value our team, that we are value our your point, what you are saying, that
Mm.
way we can improve our workplaces also.
Yeah, when we are empathetic, we are giving the message that your point is important, your point
Yeah,
is valuable, you are important. And when you do that,
they will show
involuntarily
more. Yeah,
people want to maintain that image. You are contributing to that positive ego of themselves that they want to preserve. Oh, my manager, my team member thinks good of me, so I want to live up to that definition again
mark.
and again
Yeah,
and not break it. And you'll find the entire team's performance elevates. Thank you for sharing, Rishabh.
yeah.
Sachin.
Yeah, so empathy definitely builds good relationship.
Mm.
So we had a junior, he did a mistake. Senior wanted to complain about it.
A little bit louder, Sachin. Your voice.
Hello.
Yeah, little bit louder.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, empathy definitely helps build good relationship. Let me share a simple example from my work.
Mhm.
So we had a junior who had less experience and he did a mistake and the senior wanted to complain about it. And then I said, let's have a talk. I'll have a talk with the person. And then I came to know he was not at all aware of the scenario. So he didn't work on those aspects.
Yeah.
So then I trained him on that particular. Then post that, right? So I built a good relationship with him and he contributed so much to the team and he worked late nights and all with me and it was a good relationship. We still cherish that. So it definitely helps build relationships.
Absolutely. Empathy builds very strong relationships. We will never forget how somebody made us feel. We may forget what they did for us. We may forget the rewards, recognition that they give us, but how they made us feel is something we will never forget. And you can make people feel only by showing empathy. Thank you. Vivek.
Empathy is like better, like what we call clear communication helps to like not reacting more, listening more to the other person. It helps to like,
Yeah, reasoning with an intent to understand the other person.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
listening more to other person's
yeah.
perspective.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I love that perspective. Sometimes we are reasoning to solve a person, showcase that you are wrong, showcase that you did a mistake. That kind of reasoning is not empathetic, but reasoning to understand what happened, what could we have done, how could we have done this better. That kind of. With that, we do come to the end of this reflection on Ashoka's journey, the Kalinga War, what he experienced at the battlefield and what he did beyond that, and how might we be fighting that Kalinga War every single day, every moment in our lives, and few reflections we had in terms of what can we do to become an Ashoka at the end of it and not get sucked into the older Ashoka and continue fighting wars, which might lead nowhere except for devastation. With that, we close. Any thoughts or comments, anything that you are taking away today as a lesson learned, please do share. And I will share a quick QR code for you to share any feedback that you may have for the session. Feedback is welcome right away, right now, too. In case you feel we can do this in a different way, in a different style, fashion, I'd be very happy and keen to learn more. Yeah, for now, don't make me do a round robin, just unmute.
Ma'am, from Ahsoka story, I have realized that Ahsoka has conquered the world, but he not conquered him or his
Himself.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if conquering self is a lifelong journey, I don't know. Uh, I've heard only of a few people who say I've really conquered myself. One is Buddha, one is that German god, Greek god. They say, no, I've conquered myself. Just a handful of mythological and historical characters who say we've conquered. Otherwise, it's a lifelong journey. We keep conquering parts of ourselves. We conquer anger, we conquer jealousy, we conquer empathy. One by one, we keep conquering and going on. Brilliant takeaway.
This also offers a fresh perspective in terms of humanizing the workplace experiences.
Yeah.
To be able to look beyond the professional facade and realize that ultimately it's people
People who are
and
working.
it's people to people interaction.
Yeah. Um, we can hold egos, our leaders. Behind that ego is still a fearful, scared human. And the moment you take care of that human being,
And another idea, I'll just reverse my name the next time. I'll make it Sinha Saveri.
Sinha Savri. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. And from today's session, I learned a few things from Ashoka, what he did in the battlefield. So he killed so many people. He accepted that one,
Mm.
but he did all that uh, for his people, and he moved with courage to understand the situation and to reach his goals and objectives.
Chandramouli has summarized. People have good intention, their actions may not be nice. A leader who acknowledges his mistake is courageous. He summarized the whole session. Thank you. Pujita.
I felt this is a very good exercise to reflect on the lessons from the history, and uh, something else came to my mind. I just slipped my mind. So I'll come back if I
Sure.
get carried away.
So yeah, accept your mistakes, reflect, and
Yeah, I'm here for any questions and thoughts you may have. Please do provide us feedback. Otherwise, we will meet again last Friday of February, and we'll come back with another story and reflect our quest to know ourselves and create an ego of ourselves that we are happy.
Thank you, Shanti. Bye.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.